Hello and welcome back to American Vintage. Right, we are still here in September as there are some things that we want to get sorted before we move on to the next month. Now, we still have that rain in the forecast. However, actually let's have a look very quickly at that. It's going to rain a little bit later on, not a big problem. So the reason we're still in September, there's kind of two reasons. At the end of the last episode, I was talking about the potential of foraging some of the corn that we already have ready and growing here. Now, the nice thing about the corn is that, if I'm not mistaken, it can be foraged now. And the nice thing as well is that it doesn't take away, because we're foraging it as chaff, it doesn't take away any of the yield versus if we were to wait until it's fully ready to harvest, for example. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to try to forage some of this corn, because then we can get silage created sooner than later, and that's exactly what we want. We want to create TMR as soon as possible. Now, I know that there's still a few steps before we do that, because we do need straw, and I mean, we don't need straw, but we do need hay. That's a vital component of it, because we don't want to use all the silage, because we do need a proper mix, but the way that straw helps is that it allows you to kind of fill in the gaps where you don't have to use more expensive hay or even more expensive silage. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a section of the field as forage. At least we're going to try. As far as spuds go, many people were very happy to point out that we don't need potatoes or root crop or anything like that, but for the pigs, but that's fine. We don't need it, but I'm going to use it anyways. Yeah, I still have this weird thing where my mouse likes to disconnect. I think it's definitely the mouse, because it happened in 2 different PCs, but it's very rare. So if you hear a doo-doo or something like that, I think it comes through in the audio, but if it does, just ignore it. It's nothing to fret on. Right, so yeah, root crops 3%, very small amount. I'm still going to put it in. But I probably won't use a greenhouse. Now, the reason I say that, because again, many comments have been mentioning, well, just get, open air garden, this kind of thing. Well, that would be lovely, but there's just nowhere to put it. There's literally no room for any kind of greenhouse or garden on the farm. I did have a look around, and I do have the amazing open air garden from Omatana. I think that's the modder's name. Apologies if it's incorrect. And it's an amazing greenhouse mod or garden mod that I've used in Vintage, and we'll probably use again in Vintage Survival, but we won't be using it for this. I'd rather just buy the spuds, because we really don't need that many anyways. And if it is truly optional, I mean, 3% basically makes it optional, but in my mind, it doesn't add up to 100% if we don't use it. So in my mind, not optional. So we will be using that. But first, before any food-related things, we do need to get into this amazing Heston. We do kind of have to go up the ladder this way. There we go. And we'll get it fired up. Oh, yes. Right. We do have the trailer attached and ready to go. This is quite a setup, to be completely honest. So we will see how well this works, but I do think that that this setup is efficient. The one thing that I've had issues with in the past with foraging like this is, well, actually no, in Vintage when we did foraging, we had a self-propelled and then a lorry, like kind of a box lorry, or a grain lorry, I guess you'd call it. So we didn't have anything attached to the harvester, because here we basically need to detach from the trailer, attach it to a tractor, and then drive it over to the spot. But we don't need to, actually. I've just thought of this as well. We actually don't. We could have the helper go, and then we follow along. But I think we'll do it this way the first time, just because it might make things just a bit easier as well, and we're not doing the whole field. If we were doing the whole field, it'd probably be a slightly different story. So there we go, we got the pipe out. Hopefully the roof there on this doesn't affect anything. Everything is ready to go, and yeah, we just need to start. So I really hope this does work. It should work. Oh yes, look at that. I'm getting chaff in. Brilliant. So, oh my word, it's filling up quite quickly. I think this is, what, 20,000 litre capacity, possibly? I don't know for certain, but I do hope that it holds quite a bit, because yeah, this is going to take, this is a job and a half. Especially if we do need a tractor to do the carting. I mean, the harvester is quite quick, but to remove it from the field and to do all that is quite a faff. Which is why it would be good to have, you know, tractor and trailer or something alongside. But this works just fine, and it just adds a little bit more to the job to have to do it this way. But it's not a big problem. So up at the top left there as well, I could be mistaken on what mod that's for. It could be part of, I don't think it's part of the map, but as you can see we do have like percentages and tons per hectare and all that, so it's got actual like harvester information, which I think is quite cool. Right, hang on, before we crack on this way, right, I think I'm going to go at least to here. I'll cut down this way and just do this section first and see where we're at. Just get an idea of where we've been, and then it also shows how much has been harvested, so all that information is quite interesting. I have to be honest though, and say that I'm not 100% certain how to properly read it, like what's a good tonnage per hectare and all that, because I just frankly I don't know, but yeah, I think either way it is interesting to have that sort of information, even just to have on hand to compare to the next harvest sort of thing. So I think right about here I'm going to start to curve down, do a nice clean curve like this, just down to the edge of this field here. Good timing as well, because we're nearly back round. Just going to go as clean as I can here. I might have to get spun round though. Yeah, I don't think reversing with this is going to be too easy. We can try though. See if we can reverse this. Some kind of ease. Now we'll take a nice, long... Right, let's get that again. Oof, yeah, that was a bit tight. Oh my, we're definitely not. We're destroying so much. It's alright, we've already come this far. I guess you have to lower the header. Bloody hell. Whoops. That's alright. It's a minuscule amount, and we are nearly full up again, so I think we've got to be cautious here where we're at with everything, so it's going to fill up pretty quickly. Nearly full as well. Oh, there we go. Now it's full, so we will turn that off. Raise the header, as you would. Just need to make certain we have enough. There we go. Oh, nope. There we are. Enough room to get a tractor in there. I suppose we could use the harvester, but it just doesn't make sense, to be honest. Well, at least now we have an opportunity to hop into our case 1255, which I'm quite excited to do for the first time. Now, I know someone did mention it is a bit more of a vintage European tractor, which is fair, because they're originally manufactured in Germany, but they were sold in the US, so at least there is that. But it is still a wicked tractor, and as I've said before, and Alice Chalmers is definitely on my to-buy list as soon as possible. Right, we nearly hit that tree. Good thing we didn't. Good thing we did not. Okay. So, as I've said, yeah, it's a bit of a faff, especially when you can't drive, bloody thing. The other thing is, well, I don't know if it would actually unload properly with the... oh, what have I done? There we go. I don't know if it would unload properly with the harvester because of the lack of PTO. Wow, this tractor barely... Alright, now we're going, it's fine, but crikey, it had a bit of a minute there to sort itself out. Right, so we also need to use our blower. Now, are we unloading on one side only? We are. So, let's get that set up first. That's this little fella here. So we can remove the map. So we'll get onto the McCormick W40 as well. For the first time. Nice little tractor. Perfect for this kind of single-serving job. It could probably... you know, cart little things around the farm here and there. What is this deer doing? Very bold. Surprised you show up on a working farm. I'll let you just do your thing. Yeah, that's your thing. Running away. Right. Let's get lined up here. Don't want to overshoot it. Nice. I think that's good right there. So now, if we turn on the kit... does it actually turn on? Ah, right. Unloading. Ah, right. There we go. Now it's working. Brill. Perfect. Okay. Let's get back over to the case. And we can make our way over to... So yes, we want to unload on this side. So we'll go around like this. Get as close as in there as we can. So this is a process, but you know what? Considering how much chaff we're actually going to get, yeah, this is the easiest part of it all. But look at that. We are unloading some chaff in. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. Right, so that's doing its thing, at least. Oh, what a nice shot. Here, let's get a nice picture of that. Isn't that lovely? Might even be a bloody, what do you call it? Thumbnail. Who knows? Possibly. Right, so we probably won't leave the McCormick... Oh, we could just leave the McCormick running anyways. Right, that unloads for days. Okay, so let's have a look at the map here and see where what we've done exactly. So we have... So we will get that little bit sorted as well. But we've got 20,000 litres without even covering sort of the headland of this area, which is kind of mental, actually. So that's like 22,000 litres right there. And then we go up, maybe up to here, another 22, and then, like, yeah, it's going to be a lot. So this is why I wanted to do chaff first, especially in one section of the field, just to get an idea. Bloody hell, we're going to have so much bloody chaff. It's not even... This is ridiculous. One thing I'd like to try, though, is once we do a couple headlands, maybe it would work out to... still going to run alongside the harvester. But either way, once we pop off into a time lapse as well, it'll make a world of difference with how quickly things go. Except this part. This part will take a while, regardless. But we're nearly there, so that's good. Right, actually, we'll just let it unload, and then we'll fire up the harvester again. Alright, let's just get lined up a bit nicer here so we can unhook that. We can connect up again to the harvester. Now, I know there's probably would be a better way to do this if we weren't detaching from the harvester every time. Or if we can even connect to the bloody thing. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. If I set this on a helper, it's going to go random, innit? And it might even dig into the other sort of area. Well, we could try. Let's give it a try. I just want to see. So headland first. See, it's going to do the whole bloody field. Yeah, I think for now it will be better off just doing it like this. Even if it takes a while, that's absolutely fine. It's to be expected that it would take a while. It is a big job, after all. I mean, this is a massive job. But we are here now, committed to it. So I think the best thing to do is to crack on with the time lapse. Well, as we make our way here again to the fermenter silo and the chaff blower, we will get that sorted. Right, so the rain's starting to come down a bit heavier than I thought. It was supposed to be just a drizzling, and it really is just a drizzling, so we probably could crack on with it. However, I think now's a good time to sort of take a break with it. I have been, so this takes bloody ages. This takes like almost 2 minutes just to empty this bloody trailer. 2 like real minutes. It takes absolute ages. So that's why I was kind of jump cutting from starting to empty it to sort of getting back to the field, because it takes so bloody long. However, the first time that I let it to go, I tried to hook up our grain trailers. So that's these two, what is it, Underfeld? I can't remember exactly the name now. Unverfirth? Yeah, that's the ones. I did try and use these, but unfortunately, as you can see, there is a bit of chaff in. Well, you shouldn't be able to see that, but unfortunately there is. You can't hook this up to the forage harvester, so that's a bit of a shame, indeed. So what I would like to potentially do, see, because we can't hook anything else up to here, although that would be very useful. But I also would like to look at the logistics of, because see, we do need a PTO in, which I think would be problematic, and the reason why it wouldn't work with the forage harvester. Well, also, it's not that it wouldn't work, I think it probably could, but I just don't know if I wanted to, because again, as far as like the realistic slow pace, that's kind of what I build these series on. Pretty much all my series, to be honest. Which is why I try and do as much as I can in that regard, because, again, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know exactly what I'm on about, but at least I'm trying to add the realism in where I can. where I can do at least. But anyways, let's see what it's at. I'm gonna guess 20%. Oh, 9. All right. Actually, let's have a look in here and see. Right, we've got 24%. It'll probably end at about 25% full of chaff. Realistically, I'd like to fill this. I know that's absolutely mental, but let's just look at how much we've actually. You know what? We might as well start the process, though. Yeah, go on, get it going. Because then it will hold. How much does it hold? 431,000 liters, and it's 1 for 1. So yeah, that'll take as long as it needs to take. This is also another interesting way that we could earn some sort of cash if we really need it, but I really want to save this for... See, okay, so everything that I'm sort of doing is for the animals. So the food that we're making, which includes silage, the corn that we'll be harvesting, everything that we're harvesting is really not to be sold, but more so to be used for animals. Now, this small section of this world, so this here is probably about, debatably, it's bigger than our biggest small fields that we're used to. This very, very minute part of this big bugger here. Now, I still would like to clean up the edges, because what I want to do is I want to keep this separate. So if we can figure out exactly how much we'll get out of here, which is going to be, so we've got 110,000 liters, and then we get maybe another 50,000, maybe two more loads, which we'll do in the next episode as well, just to finish it off. And I think, and then clean up this section here, that will probably be about 100 and probably less than 200,000 liters of chaff. But I don't know if I want to do more yet. If I do, I'm very tempted to just kind of go up and down here. But the other thing as well is I'd like to test. Oh, actually, I think I'll test that right now. We won't do it just because I'll save the rest of that field for the next episode. But I do want to... Here, we will shut this off, though, for now. The little tractor here. There we go. Bidoo. Stupid mouse. I think it's because, so this particular mouse, it's a great mouse. Like, it's a lightweight Steel Series mouse. It's been very good otherwise. I do like its lightweight functionality, and it's got fancy colors. I'm not really big on the RGB things, even though my keyboard, my speaker, and my bloody mouse all have it. But my PC, I've opted out completely, no RGB at all. Complete sleeper, black on black sleeper build, which I'm quite pleased with. Anyways, what was my point? Oh yes, the mouse. So it's a USB-C connection on the one side, and then a USB 2.0 whatever on the other end. So I think that might be where the problem lies, is that it's not it's wired, but you can remove the wire on both sides, which I think is the problem. To be completely honest, I think that's part of the problem, is that wire, where it should be connected directly to the mouse, is actually causing the issue, because it can slightly maybe tug, and then that causes it to disconnect briefly. I'm not too certain, but I want to pose a question out, because I think my mouse is the next thing I would upgrade, although there's no major need for it. But what's everybody's sort of hot take on wireless mice nowadays? Because I always remember people saying, oh no, avoid them, latency, this and that, but I'm like, I'm not playing professional bloody, shooter games or anything like that, so I can't see that being that for that reason. But please do let me know your thoughts anyways on that. Just a kind of a side thing. I mean, it works, so I don't really see a need to replace it now, but if I did, it would probably be with a wireless mouse. So anyways, that's for the future. Right, what I wanted to try is this, just before we pop off. So it's still showing this whole field, so what I think I'll do is I'll do the rest myself, not a problem. But what I am going to do in the future, actually, you know what, let's have a nice little look here of the whole field. So this is quite, yeah, we'll just, yeah, we're in a hot air balloon or something, I don't know. That's massive. It's a big space, but it's small, considering that this is massive. So what I want to do, here, I'll just kind of show you my plan. So I want to just trim this off so it's clean, and then possibly in this section here, so between here and here, is have a path. So proper cut the fields apart, like split them. Maybe just put some grass in, or a small, a gravel path or something. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. Or just not drill anything. But I think separating it properly by laying down some gravel or grass will allow this to be a separate section that we can focus on doing something else with. I don't know if I'll use this for chaff every time. I just don't know how far chaff will go. Or silage, I guess, in this case. Because if we look, we're probably at, 100 and... So that goes all right. But yeah, it's going to be, we're at 112, 100 and... whatever, about 112,000 litres. I would like to get another, obviously the rest of this, but I don't know if we need more or not. I feel like this field alone could do really well for actually selling crop. Because now I don't know if this will work. Maybe I could test it out, or maybe someone else has tested it out with a field like this. If I were to split this properly, like a clear divide between this side and this side, would the helper then just do this section if it was divided clean, like a clean cut? Do you know what I mean? Because then I would like to do this as one section, because if you look at that section of field, that's about the same size as this field. I still want to do hay in this one. I think I want to do hay in this one still. Just because I don't know why I bought this field. Well, because I wanted to do hay, really, and soybeans, to get the soybeans out as well. But then this field, how do you think we should separate the field? Now, I was talking in the last episode about cutting this and like making this part of the field as well, and kind of expanding like that, and maybe I still will after we harvest, of course. But yeah, I just don't know, because I feel like if I am going to get more chaff, I'd probably cut like this, go straight across here, and then just do that bit. And then just harvest the rest as corn to dry or use for feed, because we do need, well, I know we don't need, but for base food, I mean, that's 25% of the pig's food is corn. Now 50% is TMR, which about 30% of that is silage, whereas the cows, it'll be the same sort of thing, because we won't feed them hay or silage or grass. I mean, they have meadow grass to start, so we could get maybe some babies in there now. Actually, okay, maybe that's something we'll look at once we finish with the silage in the next episode. Maybe we'll look at but buying some calves, some little baby calves, because if we put them in here, though, there's no meadow grass. Well, there is a little, but I think we'd want this with TMR. See, I don't know enough about all this. There's so many, like usually on the farms that I do animals, there's one sort of pen, and that's the animal pen. Do you know what I mean? So when I have something like this, it's like maybe I should wait till I have TMR to put calves in here, instead of putting calves in here, because this is a calf weaning barn. So to use it realistically and effectively, wouldn't you put the calves in here? But if we only have calves, wouldn't they be fine here with the meadow grass? I think so. I think the calf weaning barn is to have them separate from the full animals, the big cows, so that they can, wean into the size of the full ones. If I'm incorrect with that, please do let me know, of course, because I don't know that part at all. But ignore that beeping. And then as far as, like I said, the pigs, base food 25, that's corn, grain, barley, wheat. Protein is your soybeans, I think canola and sunflowers. So we've got soybeans, which is grand, and we've got bins to store everything in, which is really good as well. And then root crops, which we'll just buy a pallet and see how far that goes. And then we'll get a proper mixture down. And we'll do that same mixture every time. Same for the cows. We'll make sure it's a perfect mixture every time. But again, we need straw. So there's many things we need. Many things that we need. But I think that's it for now. We're going to wait for the rain to stop. Of course, we are going to... Well, we're going to end the episode here because, yeah, we got that much done, and it was a bit of a faff with everything, setting everything up. And then that 2-minute wait time for the bloody forage cart to unload is... It's something, I'll tell you that. Anyways, I've rambled plenty now, so this will be the end of this episode. But in the next one, like I say, we'll finish up this area, see how much chaff we have, and then possibly move into this section here. But yeah, here we can see, like, if I were to take sort of a cultivator and go along like this, and then here as well, and kind of, well, plow that land up for more space. Because as you can see here, there's a divot in the field here. There's lots, especially if you get kind of low down. You can kind of see just how the topography of the field is quite different everywhere. And like, what's the difference here? It's not that different. Same with this section here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, that's a nice view of the farm up here. The whole farm. Nothing but the farm. Oh goodness. Okay. Right, well, as always, thank you so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed the episode today. We did get the foraging started, which is very exciting. And so much chaff to speak of. So much. And we are dwindling our cash reserves as well, so slowly but surely. But we do need to get an animal trailer next time as well, if we are going to buy animals. Because I don't want to just buy them in. I'd rather go to the cooperative and buy them ourselves. Again, adding to that realism and allowing us to use our pickup truck as often as possible. Right, anyways, if you've enjoyed the episode, cheeky thumbs up always helps out the channel, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Until the next one though, please do take care, and bye for now.